Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. Silence in a hospital room is often disturbing. It's not the kind of silence that calms. It listens. Hears the sound of machines, the murmurs of prayers, and the rhythm of breath, even when that breath is weak, unsure, and borrowed from hope. Those sounds were the only music Bilal Hazziez could hear. The music that played during the longest nights of his life. After the diagnosis of viral fever, a weakened immune system, and severe respiratory symptoms, the world was no longer the same. It had slowed, altered, coiled inward. The bright fluorescent lights in that hospital hallway made everything else, their show, their fans, their routines, fade away. Now Shaeeda was sleepy, pallid, and hooked up to IVs and oxygen. He stayed at her side. It was ironic since just a few days before, their living room was full of laughter. Shaeeda was dancing with their infant boy in her arms and laughing at Bilal's botched attempt to replicate a TikTok fad. In their small but ideal world, the three of them seemed untouchable. But life, Bilal would come to understand, doesn't give warnings before it changes. She had mentioned she felt fatigued. "Maybe I just need more sleep," she chuckled, waving it aside. She even cooked dinner that night, one of her famous Caribbean specialties. But midway through stirring, she paused. Her hand shook. She took a seat. Her span eyes, which are usually brilliant with sass and spark, darkened a little bit. Now those eyes were shut. There was a battle going on behind them. Things changed on the third night. Shaeeda's temperature got worse. Her heart rate started to drop. While Bilal was holding her hand, nurses raced in. His knuckles were white from gripping too firmly. They urged him to go outdoors. He didn't want to. He begged, but they insisted. He stood in the hallway, heart racing, and heard muffled instructions coming from behind the door. He couldn't see her, and that broke him in a manner he never thought it would. "Bilal," interview-style flashback, "I've always tried to be the one who fixes things. The one who makes the plans. The one with the answers. But in that hallway, I didn't have anything. Only prayers. Just fear. That's when I gave up." He went to the hallway's quietest corner and slipped down to the floor. He muttered her name over and over like a mantra. He didn't notice the janitor who passed by. He couldn't hear the vending machine buzzing. His mind was fixed on one thought. Please let her stay. Shaeeda looked at Bilal on their wedding day and stated, "No matter what happens, I trust you. Even when you don't want to." They both laughed. But it wasn't just a joke. It was a fact. She had always put her heart, hopes, and moved to a new world in his hands. Even when she was at her lowest, she still trusted him to be strong when she couldn't. He knew he had to stay strong. For her. For their child. For their future. By daybreak, the fever eventually broke. Not all the way, but enough to make her body stop shaking. She had enough strength to split her lips and say a name. "Bilal." He ran to her side. "Bilal. I'm here, Habibti. I never left." She smiled, but not much. But it was there, like a lone flower blooming in a field after a storm. It took a while for things to get better. She was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. There were days that were good, and then there were days when the coughing was so bad that she couldn't talk. But Bilal was there through it all, reading to her, listening to her favorite Quran readings, sending her pictures of their son so she could see him, even though she couldn't hold him yet. They talked on FaceTime every night. Their baby boy would wave at the TV, even though he was too young to understand. And Shaeeda would cry a little, not because of weakness, but out of love. A mother never stops feeling the pull of her kid, even when she is unwell. When Shaeeda was pregnant, she would often say, "I never thought I would be this lucky. A child, a spouse, a home. This was worth the wait." Bilal had been worried about being a parent. But what about Shaeeda? She took it in like it was part of her soul. She laughed through all of it. Sleepless nights, diapers, and baby bottles. Because she got what she asked for. Now, the notion of not being able to return to that, to be his mother, Bilal's wife herself, tormented her more than the disease. And so she fought. Every single breath. Every drink of water. Every lengthy, excruciating trip around the hospital floor. She fought because she wasn't getting better only for herself. She was getting well for her family. Bilal wandered around the house like a ghost at home. Their bedroom still smelled like her perfume. Her prayer mat was still on the floor by the window. Her cup of tea from the morning before she felt sick was sitting on the kitchen counter, untouched. He just couldn't get himself to toss it away. The roughest times were at night. The infant would wail for her. And Bilal, even though he was powerful, couldn't bring back the warmth of her arms or the serenity of her heartbeat. He would sometimes sit by the crib and tell her stories about their first date, how she laughed, and how she danced barefoot in the kitchen. He needed their son to remember her, just in case. And then the call came. She is stable. She can come home. Bilal didn't wait at all. He put the infant in the car seat, packed her favorite shawl, and drove to the hospital with tears in his eyes. He raced to her as soon as she got out of the hospital, even though she was moving slowly. Softly. With care. Their baby shouted with happiness. The three of them were back together, wrapped in one hug, one breath, and one heartbeat. Recovery went on at home. Shaeeda slept a lot. Her hunger came back slowly. Bilal was her husband, nurse, and cook all over again. He learned how to check her temperature, soothe her pain, and be there for her even when she didn't want to seem weak. And she, the woman who used to pose glamorously in front of cameras and mirrors, suddenly embraced the beauty of healing. No makeup. Hair not done. Tired eyes yet awake. Every little thing was a win. A taste of soup. A walk that lasts 5 minutes. A grin. They prayed together every night. Thankful. Thankful. Altered. Weeks later, one night, Shaeeda sat next to Bilal under a warm blanket. The infant was sleeping. Shaeeda, quietly, were you scared? Bilal. More than I've ever been in my life. She agreed. Looked down. Then they said in a low voice. Shaeeda, I saw you, you know. Even when I was too exhausted to talk. I could feel you. Every time you took my hand. Bilal. I wasn't sure if you could hear me. But I couldn't stop chatting to you. They sat in silence, their hearts full, and shared tears. Outside, the world had not been quiet. People from all around the world had sent prayers, candles, and postcards. Messages came in fast. She's a fighter. Stay strong, Queen. Sending healing energy. It reminded them that love is not just what you give, but also what you get back when you need it most. Shaeeda is still doing better today. Not as fast as she wants. More powerful than she thinks. Bilal still watches her in astonishment. He doesn't worry about the small things anymore. He knows how rapidly life can change and how deeply it may make you think about what matters most. Their baby, who is now crawling and giggling again, makes them happy every day. And their love, which was once on display for the world to see, now burns silently, furiously, and unshakably in the seclusion of their shared survival. Love doesn't always mean big actions or prominent statements. Love can mean wiping a fevered forehead, staying up all night without sleeping, praying so hard that it hurts, holding someone's hand so tightly that you forget your own sorrow. Shaeeda and Bilal went into the storm. They didn't just get through it, they got stronger from it. The best stories are the ones that are written in the space between breaths. In the power of those who chose each other over and over again, even when the world is quiet. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.